Oh, that's great. All right. So I'm Walt Glass. I'm a volunteer. I'm retired, and I enjoy helping people in their job search well, and I particularly emphasize interviewing. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. So, and I also participate in this group. I've been part of this group for probably over 8 years. All right, for those of you in the room, we'd like you to come up to this computer, use this microphone to introduce yourself. I think I have an outline for that. There we go. Who's first? Find it. Come on up.
We're gonna see if it's safe. We're gonna go first.
There's no electricity to get you.
Stand right here.
Yeah, right there.
Good morning. I'm Vincent Battles, Senior Talent Management. I support hiring manager stakeholders to retain and attract talent. I'm Vincent Battles. I battled for your retainment of talent.
Thank you, sir. Next.
My name is Stefan Hirsch. I'm looking for a job in the area of bid support, proposals, pricing, anything has to do with kind of customer support, sales support for the telecom or technology area. I've been in telecoms for over about, I think, 20 years now, and I like to stay in that area. So anywhere, I could use any kind of contact in the telecom area. That could be Nokia, that could be Ericsson, if there's anything available. And I have contacts myself with a company called NetScout. Again, my name is Stefan Hirsch.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Diane Bednar. I'm looking for a director of retail operations position or regional manager position, not necessarily in retail, but where I can help operationally. I'm adept at developing and executing strategies through collaboration with a focus on improving profitability and overall performance. And I'm just looking at for contacts at either privately held retail companies or some of the mainstream ones like Tory Burch. Thank you.
Do you consider Cinemark retail? I can help you with Cinemark.
Good morning. My name is Meg Matthews, and I'm looking for positions in HR as a senior generalist or an HR business partner. I have had experience in healthcare, but I'm no longer looking for healthcare positions. So I'm looking for something in diagnostics, medical devices, logistics, telecommunication, and also technology. I don't really have a contact company or a target company, so I'm really open to most of the companies that I've just mentioned. My name is Meg Matthews.
Do you know Jules Reckerbush? He is God's gift to anyone in medical devices. He's a leader in South Lake Focus Group. I can give you his contact information. He knows everybody.
Why not? Well, I don't know if you remember me. Penn Hoyt, I was here.
Oh, yeah.
7 years.
Yeah. How you doing?
Hi, I'm Penn Hoyt. I'm a B2B marketing director. Monday, I got a phone call, I should say Zoom call, with my boss and HR, which is never a good thing. And was told, thank you very much for your use, and we no longer need you anymore. Don't let the door hit you in the butt way out. So now I'm racing to here. I'm looking for a director of marketing position, preferably in the software industry, but I will look at other industries as well. I would prefer not to have to relocate. There's enough good things to be able to do in this area. It also would be nice to find a job close to Plano. My last 2 jobs have been out past Fort Worth. So I did something wrong and karma's getting me back. So that's how it works. Little young right now to be, or as I said, a little early for getting into what I'm looking for contacts or other things. I'm still kind of dealing with this getting let go on the whole thing, but I have very many contacts. I've been on LinkedIn for ages. As you see me introduce myself to Walt, I'm a boomerang. Did this about 7 years ago. So I'm back again. So anything I can do to help any of you out, look me up on LinkedIn. It's Penn Hoyt in LinkedIn. Click on that. More than happy to help you on out and connect you with anything I can do. Penn Hoyt, thanks.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Penn. I think
Welcome
PJ,
back, sir, you're here.
will have some words for you today.
Okay. Morning, everybody. I'm Jayma Ball. Hey, PJ. I'm a seasoned global operations leader whose superpower is transforming chaos into order. I'm looking for a VP, Director of Operations, specifically in service delivery or product implementation here in DFW. I'm Jayma Ball. Oh, sorry. I can help with hospitality. I've got many years of hospitality experience. So if you need help in the hospitality industry, let me know. I need contacts at a hospitality company, Coury, Coury Hospitality, and a firm. My name is Jayma Ball.
Chandler, come on down.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chandler Kim. I'm a technology marketing and partnering executive. I help companies win more and grow faster. I'm seeking a VP of marketing, VP of strategic alliances, VP of partnerships type role. Although I am based in far north Dallas, I am relocatable for the right position or recently even the wrong one. My name is Chandler Kim. My passion is to second guess the offensive play calling for the Cowboys. I'm really good at second guessing what they do. I have strong opinions. Anyway, I'm Chandler Kim. Please let me know if I can help you.
Thank you, Chandler.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nazar Scott. I'm a sales and marketing professional. Most recently, I had to make a career shift due to a non-compete. I was most recently in the HRT telehealth industry. I basically help companies generate revenue. So I'm looking for my next position. I'm big on culture and want to work for a company where I have growth potential and I feel good about what I do and provide value. I have done medical sales before, so I'm primarily looking in medical pharmaceutical, but I'm open to other industries. Again, alignment is key for me. Remote or hybrid in the DFW area would be preferential, but open to relocation for the right position. Again, my name is Nazar Scott. I have contacts clients primarily in the health and fitness telehealth industry.
Very good. Do you know Jules Reckerbush? Recommendation I made a minute ago. He's God's gift to medical device. And Judy Wardle is pharmaceutical. Lots of contacts. Let me know if you need to get in touch with either one of them.
Go ahead and introduce yourself, Matt, while Williams come on down.
Morning, Matt Keelan, IT VP or Director. I help companies spend their dollars wisely and keep hackers out. I can help with Grant Thornton and Cherry Beckert. Don't need any contacts at this time. Again, Matt Keelan and William. Grant Thornton. Okay. Afterward. Thanks again for your help.
Yep.
All right, I think I'm set. Good morning, everybody. My name is William McLaughlin, currently seeking a data analyst role. I help companies do the research necessary in order for them to make data-driven decisions that will help them improve their bottom line. Looking for context, Cinemark and Dave & Buster's. And again, my name is William McLaughlin. Thank you.
I can help you with Cinemark. All right.
Okay, online.
Online. Steve Sulkin.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Gotcha.
All right. I'm Steve Sulkin. I'm from Frisco, Texas. I'm a director of process improvement, and I lead lean programs that bring people together. I can help with contacts at Baylor Scott & White Health, and I'm looking for contacts at Children's Health. I'm Steve Sulkin.
Thank you, Steve.
And
Mayor?
also, Matt, for Meg, when she was talking about diagnostics, don't forget Blaine Chippendale just started at IDEX.
Oh, that's right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mayor?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Amr Mansour. I'm looking for a program director or project director role. I build high-performing teams and lead complex programs that bring about business solutions. I need contacts at AT&T and Spectrum. I have contacts at HCSC and Benefit Mall. My name is Amr Mansour.
Thank you. Sorry for butchering your name. Anthony?
Morning, everyone. My name is Anthony Autry. I'm a senior retail manager / merchandiser. I help companies drive sales, grow profit at the same time, reduce costs. Anthony Autry.
Thanks, Anthony. Patty?
Hi, everybody. I'm Patty Bashy. I'm looking for an account director or senior customer success manager role at a marketing research company. I help companies build relationships with their customers and also grow top line sales. I am the farmer, not the hunter in sales. I need contacts at Mintel and Ipsos, and I have contacts at Nielsen. My name is Patty Bashy.
Thanks, Patty. Brad?
Hi, I'm Brad Yearwood. Looking for a job in as a senior program manager. I have experience in the CPG space with PepsiCo, specifically in the data and analytics space. So if anybody needs any contacts at PepsiCo, hit me up. I can help you out. I help companies gain insights out of their data to make intelligent decisions. Again, my name is Brad Yearwood.
Thank you. Dion?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Dion Myers, and I'm a CPSO or Contract Program Security Officer with Lockheed Martin. I know a lot of people and a lot of different companies that I might be able to link you guys up with, but I am here to support the group as this group has helped me land jobs in the past.
Appreciate that, Dion. Dustin?
Hey, good morning, everyone. Dustin Williams. I'm now a senior product owner and engineer. I have landed I'll be working at PNC Bank as a contract to hire through Mastech Digital. So I start on Monday, actually a week earlier than I had originally planned. So
congratulations.
Thank you. I'm Dustin Williams. Please, I'll put my information in there. I'm happy to connect with anyone, help them out any way I can. So
Dustin, can you give us like a 1 minute or so a summary of your process, how you got connected, your interviews, etc.?
Yeah, so I actually connected with them through a recruiter who found me on LinkedIn. So my LinkedIn profile was important in that play. I also use networking to get into. I was talking to a neighbor of mine who knows some folks who works in PNC. I networked in with them to find out more about their culture, how they operate. I also found out more about the position as well as the manager that I interviewed with. The interview process was pretty much a one and done. I had one interview. It was with the hiring manager, and it was 30 minutes long. I knew the next day. So,
wow,
miracles do happen.
It was a different process, but it worked out. So just got to go in and kick butt and convert, right? And then my plan is to still participate in the future because they're growing, especially in the IT realm. So I hope to bring positions back to either this group or the South Lake Focus Group as well to hopefully fill.
Where are you located, Dustin?
I'll be hybrid in Farmers Branch.
That's not too far from where you can bring donuts,
I might pop in one day because I couldn't
All
today
right,
though. I apologize.
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Great.
In the meantime, these virtual donuts taste very good. Thank you.
Thanks, Dustin.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Yes,
Thank you.
congrats. Jeff Grass.
Hi. Oh, I just lost my script here, guys. There it is. Hi. I'm Jeff Press. I'm actually in the on the North Shore of Chicago. I'm just checking you guys out. I'm looking for a position in a mission-driven organization because my background is as an executive director in nonprofit organizations and education. So I'm not sure I have too many contacts that may be able to help, but I'm just interested in learning more about what you guys do. My name is Jeff Brass.
Well, thanks for joining us. I hope it's cooler up there.
I think it is. I think it is.
Gina.
Good morning. My name is Gina Patton. I am looking for a military relations, community relations role. I foster relationships both in the company and the community, driving profitability, sharing resources, and de-escalating tensions. My target companies are Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Textron, Bell Flight, or any of the aviation defense companies. Smaller ones are fine. My name is Gina Patton, like the general. Thank you.
Thanks, Gina. Kimberly.
Hello, I'm Kimberly Ball, B-A-L-L. Shout out to my sister Jama there. You can see how we look exactly alike. Also shout out to Dion because he helped me get an in at Lockheed Martin, and I'm still kind of, waiting to see what happens with that. But he's the real deal. Helped me get going pretty quickly with that. I'm transitioning from teaching to accounting. And my other targets lately are City of Frisco, City of Plano, any of the city ofs around here. And I think I covered everything. Kimberly Ball, B-A-L-L.
Thanks, Kimberly. Meg? Going once? You logged in and in the room. Okay, you're an overachiever. How about Rhonda Sellers?
Good morning. I'm Rhonda Sellers. I'm a construction specifications writer with architects. I write and edit architectural specifications, coordinate specs and drawings, collaborate with architects and manufacturers, reps, and research technical information. I'm identifying my target firms through informational interviews. I'm Rhonda Sellers.
Thanks, Rhonda. Rosina?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rosina Gallman, and I'm your Career Tip of the Week host, and I'll be talking to you further in just a few minutes. I'm a senior talent acquisition consultant, or otherwise known as a senior recruiter. I help companies to find the right talent to fill their roles in their culture. I am in need of contacts at Delta Dental and MetLife, as well as Cigna. Yet I am open to other industry possibilities and have worked across many industries already. So I have plenty of contacts. As I hear them, I will make sure I reach out to the right people who have stated that they're looking for contacts at the companies I've already worked with. Again, my name is Rosina Gallman.
Vitaly?
Good morning, everyone. I'm searching for supply chain logistics positions like supply chain manager or logistics specialist, preferably in our automotive industry. I target companies like Toyota North America, located in Plano, it's the main one, General Motors, and the Hyundai Motor America, which is located in California. I've been working for Hyundai for 8 years, so it will be smooth. It could be smooth, just shift. I help to provide ocean delivery and trucking of services, mostly for automotive, but also the transferable skills for any type, I believe, of goods. Unfortunately, I don't have reliable contacts here with the companies yet, at least. Again, my name is Vitaly Platonov. Thank you.
Thanks, Vitaly. Take a look at the chat. Somebody just gave you a link.
Yeah, you should look into PepsiCo. They have a huge supply chain.
PepsiCo.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I have contacts there. I can help you with that.
Yes, please contact me. Thank you.
Yeah, I think
But
we're
you-
connected on LinkedIn. So
But you can't drink any Coke or any Coke products.
That's right.
yeah, if you test
Rest in luck.
positive for Coke, they kick you out. So
Drop me a line, text me. Thank you. Mhm.
Gracias.
My turn?
Yep.
Sorry, the sound cut out. Okay. Good morning. My name is Graciela Custer. I am interested in multi-social media management, email marketing, and administrative work. I help with strategic planning, which has contributed to timely communication and hyper-organization. And examples of target companies: Ethics and Public Policy Foundation, Center for American Liberty, Competitive Enterprise Institute, and you can private message me for a full list of target companies. I'll put this in my contact info in the chat. Again, my name is Graciela Custer.
Thank you. Scott.
Good morning, everybody. Scott Boudreau, Certified Planning Inventory Management. Looking for a supply chain job in Central New Jersey or remotely, specializing in inventory planning or production. If it has a part number, I can manage it. If it doesn't, I'll create one. Scott Boudreau.
Steve Rowan.
Hi, I'm a retired .NET developer, and I come to these meetings just to keep up with what's going on in the employment world. I'm looking for pointers at GM Financial, Fiserv, or the Veterans Administration. My name is Steve Rowan.
Thank you, Steve.
Did we miss anybody? Got everybody? Great. It's good to have you. We would encourage you to be in person. There's some real positive benefits to being in person because there's a lot of networking that goes on in the room, particularly afterwards. And we also, for those that want to, we go meet for lunch at a nearby restaurant. And there's a lot of networking and conversations about job search going on there. Remember, one person said the best part of his job search was what he learned at the lunches after our meeting on Fridays. So we encourage you to come and be present and get the benefits of speaking to one another in person. Okay, Rosina, you're up.
Great. Thank you, Walt. All right, everybody. Good morning again. Rosina Goldman, your Career Tip of the Week host. And this week's Tip of the Week, dated July the 12th, is the title is 67 Resume Accomplishments, Examples to Show Your Value. This is really more of a guide that has a lot of different tips in it. And I highly recommend you go back and go through this entire guide just for extra things to add to your interviews and preparation for interviews. This article/guide is published by Hannah Bays, and it's reviewed by Robert Henderson, who is a resume expert. All right. Now, the guide itself is about 18 pages. And so Matt was so nice to shrink this down, and we're just going to talk about the highlights. 67 resume accomplishment examples to show your value. It emphasizes the importance of including measurable accomplishments on your resume to enhance your chances of getting hired. According to a survey mentioned, 33% of hiring managers consider the absence of measurable accomplishments a deal breaker. Some key points to consider. First, the definition of resume accomplishments. Resume accomplishments are specific measurable accomplishments or achievements that demonstrate how you made a positive impact in your previous role. They are distinct from job responsibilities, which describe duties rather than outcomes. Second, where to include accomplishments. Work experience section. In that section, you incorporate measurable accomplishments into each job entry. You want to also add it to the resume summary, where you use your accomplishments to summarize your qualifications and impact at the top of your resume. And then for new graduates, you want to highlight achievements from volunteer work, internships, and academic projects. Third, quantity of accomplishments. You want to aim to include at least 5 measurable accomplishments on your resume. Using tools like JobScan's resume scanner can help you ensure that your resume is optimized with sufficient accomplishments. Fourth, you want to craft accomplishments. So there are certain questions that you want to ask, such as, did you make or save the company money? Did you exceed goals or improve success processes? Did you enhance customer satisfaction? You want to use the CAR formula when you use this, this technique. And so using the CAR formula is using challenge, action, and result formula to structure your accomplishments. Fifth, tips for effective accomplishments. Use strong verbs. Employ action verbs like initiated, exceeded, or mobilized. You want to provide context. Ensure accomplishments are contextualized to highlight their specific significance. And then incorporate keywords. Tailor your resume to job descriptions by including relevant keywords, which helps pass applicant tracking systems. And then 6, you want to use optimization tools. JobScan's tools can help optimize resumes by identifying missing keywords and suggesting improvements. It also offers features for generating cover letters, optimizing LinkedIn profiles, and tracking job applications. Now, there are some examples of accomplishments using CAR. So again, CAR stands for challenge. As a marketing intern tasked with increased social media engagement, that would be the challenge. The action, develop a comprehensive strategy involving market research and interactive posts. And then result, increased engagement by 40% and follower count by 15%. That's the result. So that's kind of how you write it out on your resume, or at least be prepared to share it in that way during an interview. So by following these guidelines and examples, job seekers can effectively showcase their specific value to potential employers through well-crafted resume accomplishments. And again, some of the key takeaways that you want to understand is resume accomplishments are a powerful way to convince recruiters and hiring managers to move you to the next step in the hiring process and interview you. And a couple of things to remember: resume accomplishments are more valuable to recruiters than job responsibilities and duties. And if you feel stumped in writing your work accomplishment statements, use the CAR method. So start with a challenge, then share the action that you did and the result. And don't forget to use powerful action words. And since recruiters use applicant tracking systems to sift through applications, make sure to incorporate relevant keywords from the job description into your resume accomplishment statements. And then you want to optimize your resume and increase your score with JobScan's resume scanner. And if you're building your resume from scratch, try JobScan's free resume builder. There are no hidden costs, and it allows you to build an applicant tracking system compatible resume in no time. Now, again, this specific guide is about 18 pages. Matt will send that out later on this afternoon in the general email, but he'll also send out the link directly to the article or to the guide. use the link, the URL link. That way, throughout this guide, there are a lot of clickable links within and throughout the guide. So when you get to, the guide's going to go into different sections, such as sales and marketing examples and education examples or human resource examples. And I'm going to speak to that one for a quick second. So under human resource examples or any of the other examples, at the very bottom of that section, it's going to have more examples where you get sample PDFs in there, sample resumes, other skills, keywords, salary ranges. So when I clicked on the human resource examples, the more examples section, that's an additional 7 pages of detail that I can use within that resume on top of what's already in the guide. So make sure you click on all the clickable links. There's a lot of good stuff in this guide. So I hope you guys enjoy this week's career tip of the week. Again, it is 67 resume accomplishment examples to show your value and help you to be successful in your job search and your interviewing throughout the hiring process. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you very much, Rosina. And I'll try to have less spastic actions on my clicker for slides in the future. So anyway, all right, what's next? So I would like to tell you a little bit about what I offer. My primary purpose right now is volunteering to help job seekers. And I particularly pay emphasis on interviewing because we do a lot of work just to get the interview and we don't want to blow it. Okay, so what do? Well, I can definitely help you with that. I offer a free interview success workshop. The purpose of the workshop is to help us gain skills and confidence for a successful, a comfortable, and a very good interview, which can yield in whether, yes, let's go forward, or maybe we need to stop now, whichever it might be. It's a fit or it's not a fit. So if it's not a fit, that's a success as well. And what we can do prior to that is going to help us be successful in that fit before we even get to the interview, right? So that's the whole purpose. So I do it on Tuesdays from 9 to 11 Central. It's on Zoom. Look me up on LinkedIn. There's my LinkedIn page. There you see my Yahoo email address and my phone number. Just send me a email to that Yahoo email. Just say, I'd like to register for the workshop. I'll give you some availability dates and get you scheduled. Now, it's very informal. This is not a mock interview at any stretch of the imagination. It's a learning interview. We're here to try to learn how to improve ourselves. So we don't need to dress up for this one because it's just, hey, we're going to talk to each other and we're going to discuss a few things. And what I have you do is I usually do 2 people at a time. You interview each other. I take notes. The interviews are not very long. We cover some 12 basic categories and we look at strategies, options, structures. Why is this question being asked? Are we answering the motive as well as the question? So I want to move us from a response mindset to a selling mindset, because everyone agrees that the interview is a selling situation and we're selling ourselves. How do you define that? Well, it's 3 things. It's who we are, our characteristics, our soft skills, the way we communicate, etc. It's what we do, and that's our experience, our hard skills, education, certification, all that wrapped into one. And then we want to combine those to show how we can use those to help them and provide value to them. They don't hire us to do the work. They hire us for the results of what we do with the work. So we got to clear on 3. Yep, looks like a person I want to work with. Yep, looks like you can do the job. And 3, you can bring great value to us. And so how do we sell that? How do we do that? Well, that's what the workshop is all about. Be glad to have you come down and participate. I call it learning without squirming. You know, practice interviewing isn't a tease. We want to make that interview at ease. So our fingers will not freeze and our cheeks will not squeeze. Okay, if you want to send me an email, there's a QR code up there. They'll start out an email to me, to my address. You got to fill in a couple of spots. This is under the principle of making it easy for people to do things. And this is just one small thing. So here's an easy way for you to email me right here. So we're glad to have you do that. All right. Jama. Jama has been a loyal, dedicated, consistent member of the pit crew and has even led the pit crew at times. So Jama, tell us about the pit crew.
Thanks, Walt. I'm sorry that I've had to be a loyal member for so long, but I'm here to tell you about the PIT crew. You see the slide up there. The PIT crew stands for the practice interview team. It represents a group of hiring managers who volunteer their time to provide realistic practice interviews to those in job transition, seeking a new position, or in a career change. Let me step back. Big head there. Okay. As we all know, the resume or the LinkedIn profile may get you in the door, but the interview is what gets you the job. Our goal in the PIT crew is to prepare you to cross the finish line. We build your confidence, enabling you to tell your story well in an interview situation. You need to be, you dress up like you're in an interview. We prepare for you as if it's an interview, and we provide that personalized interview feedback. All we ask for you to participate is that as a candidate, you send us a job description. Could be a target job description. It could be a real job description and your resume. Send it to the address on the slide, dallaspitcrew@gmail.com, and we'll prepare that interview. Candidates are encouraged to practice as many times as is needed or you want to. Our motto is practice early and practice often. You can come and observe us if you are still tentative about interviewing or can't get on the schedule. You can come and watch the interviews here at Christ United Methodist Church, same place we're having the meeting today. First, second, third, and fifth Wednesdays of the month, we are on for next week at 1 o'clock. The fourth Wednesdays are online only. So come and join us, learn more about the interview process, and we'll see you there. Thanks, Walt.
Thank you much, Dana. How many practice interviews do you think you need to have before you gain confidence? More than one, right? Okay. More than none, right? All right. So be glad to have you participate with that. I'm also a panelist on the PIT crew as well. So today I want to let you know that for those of you that want to join us, maybe some of you are online but would still like to join us at Dickey's Barbecue. It's on Preston Road, north of Parker, south of Spring Creek, if you're familiar with Plano. Anyway, we'd be glad to have you come down to lunch. We'll be there at 11:45. All right. Today I want to introduce to you PJ Dunn. I met PJ. I've always wondered what PJ stood for, PJ, because I only know it's PJ. Some years ago, back at the community church. What was the church? Watermark. Yeah, Watermark Church, where he participated over there. Now, to introduce PJ thoroughly would take too long. He is a master of doing several things and many things. I would kind of sum up as he is kind of like a life coach in many different areas. He has a great process, of being clear, being consistent, being competent. And the last one is the last C.
Clear, confident,
Okay.
There's so many C's.
Yeah, there's too many C's. But anyway, he has advised the legal profession in many avenues, coaching and helping people one-on-one, many different legal groups. And so he's one of a few non-lawyers that advises the legal profession on many different areas. And so he's also a master of Clifton's strengths. All right. So he knows how we can take our strengths to maximize and how we can manage the weaknesses. So he's all full of that. He's just a great guy. So he's very one. PJ, we are so proud to have you come speak to us today. Thank you. Turn that on. Give you control of the clicker.
See if it goes. It is working.
You turn your face.
Can everyone hear me okay? Online? Can y'all hear me? I know up front, everybody can see me very well. Okay. All right. Well, if I can do this, here's one thing I'm going to ask for the people that are here. I don't want to be on my phone trying to give a presentation, so I don't want to look at you looking down at your phones unless, of course, it's super, super important and you have to respond to an answer real quick. What I want to do is this. I don't want to give a long, boring lecture about here's 3 ways to keep yourself from doing this. That's already on Instagram. What I actually want to do today is I actually want to connect with you because you're human beings having a human experience in front of other human beings who are also having a human experience. You see, I don't work well if I just talk about that. I work well when I can look you in the eye and go, yeah, that's difficult what you're doing right now. Let's talk about how we together can then take all the thoughts, not just your thoughts, because one of us is not as smart as all of us together. Right? You've heard that. So that's kind of like the way I like to roll. So if you have a question or a thought while I'm doing mostly visible things by the PowerPoint, please, you're not interrupting me. Again, I'd rather have the conversation than have you be bored. So with that, as soon as we get this straight, looks like we might be there. Stress less, live more. That sounds great. Why wouldn't we do this? So I'm going to start with you. I have something I want you to do here first. I want to get you guys talking. So I want you to finish this sentence for me. Looking for a job while getting 0 positive results is anybody? Demoralizing. What else? Deflating. Demotivating. All the D words. Yes. What else?
Challenging.
Stressful.
Frustrating.
Thank you. Thank you,
Awful.
Yes. Yes. It seems like we have a PhD in this because every one of the answers that you gave is absolutely correct. So let me ask a question now. Now that we've said the words, we put them out there and we've described the feeling, what factors do you think are at play here? What do you think is happening?
Being inadequate. You can't give anything about this.
Feeling inadequate because you can't do anything about how someone else perceives you. There's a lack of control. Yes.
Okay, we've got to have a little rule here. When you speak, you have to have the microphone. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
That's okay. If your people don't do what you expect them to do, it's my fault. So I take the mic. That's a leadership principle that I have. So I'm going to give you the microphone so you can say that again. And then you are responsible for giving it to the next person.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, what factors may be in play here?
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying that, the fact of the matter is that you're feeling inadequate. The fact of the matter, you can't change someone's opinion or perception of you when it comes to trying to get a job, trying to land.
Very interesting. What else? What other factors can you think of that might be in play here? What's going on? Right over here.
The economy.
Yeah, love it. Thank you, economy. Thank you, online. Certainly, I cannot see you all, so certainly do not feel afraid to interrupt or say something. Interject.
What about fake postings for research and
Fake
other purposes?
posting. Okay, that's another good one. Here live.
The hiring manager's looking for extensive experience. When you can do a job or that ideal job you're looking for, and you're looking for 3 to 5 to 10 years of experience, and you don't get past you don't even get the initial interview without being able to show what they would consider relevant industry experience.
Yes. Appreciate that. That's a good one. Anybody? Another one online. Let's get another one from somebody.
They're looking for the purple squirrel.
They're looking for the purple squirrel. And what was the other voice that was going?
I think you haven't established the personal relationship well enough to connect the dots. I think that's a big factor.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Age discrimination.
Age discrimination, and that by that way we can say all discrimination, because if they can do it by age, they can do it by whether you're a native speaker, they can do it by your height, whether you wear glasses or not, whether you look the part, whether you're from the right part of Dallas, and certainly skin color. So there are a lot of factors, but here's what I'd love to do with us today. Today, we're going to use all the brains in the room. How about that? And then I'm going to give you some introductory little things to think about, and then let's dive into it. And then what I hope to do is show you some practical ways of how to spend your time. Because at this point, here's what we're talking about. The people that are the most successful, number one, what you'll see is resilience. But the second thing you'll see in the most successful people is they ask the big question. And the big question is what I'm about to do the best use of my time? See, one of the big things that you lose when you don't have the structure of getting up every day, getting in the car, driving, going to an office, when you lose your structure, then you can lose your structure. What does that mean? The things that you used to do that you had to do to get up and go to a job, you have to do now because you're looking for one. So you may get up later. Guys, we may not shave for a couple of days. Ladies, we might not get done up like we like to say. My girlfriend likes to say, paint my face for the day. That's what she likes to say, right? There's things that start to slack off because you don't have structure. When you lose structure, guess what? It's going to be hard to get back into structure when a company hires you and brings you in, because guess what? They're going to have a structure. So we have to resist this idea. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to have all the fun stuff. Quotes. I love quotes. This is from Dunn from University of Wisconsin. When she was asked about this, she simply said it this way, that when we think of job search depression, most people attribute it to financial instability and then frequent rejection. But it turns out identity is a much bigger piece of the puzzle than most people found. So we've got to talk about what that identity is. Here's the danger. Let's get the dangers up front, the red flags, the road is out up front, and then we're going to unpack. Okay. So the danger is this: the perception that we are our work is a major reason the job search and receiving constant messages that we aren't who we think we are is so distressing. And that's exactly what the message is. The more someone doesn't show you favor, the more you think you don't have it. Anyone that owns plants, anybody here owns plants? You water them, you take care of them? Yeah, yeah. You guys know that plants, we actually talk to plants, don't we? And some of them actually respond to it, right? Here's the thing. Plants grow, and there's this principle called the heliotropic principle. What plants will do is, even if they're not faced towards sunlight, they'll turn towards the sunlight, because the sun is a big source, obviously, of energy. I will submit to you right now that people are also heliotropic. If you're getting nothing but negativity, 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 the moment you get around something affirming, something that says you do matter, you do have a skill set, you just don't have a job, which means you don't have, it doesn't mean you don't have a skill set just because you don't have your job, right? We then tend to turn to the things that encourage us, that lift us up. The reason being, because if you don't, and you listen to your voice, what'll happen is you'll start telling yourself, see, dad was right when he said I was not as good as my brother. See, so-and-so was right about this. So-and-so was right that I'm too old, I'm too black, I'm too white, I'm too whatever. And if you start feeding yourself that, guess what happens? You spiral. Guess what? You go on a job interview, we're trained to look for the people who are problem people because we don't want to hire them because they're going to bring those problems to our office, and we can't have that. In fact, on the interview, the person sitting on the other side of the table, they're in the asset collection business. Okay. You've never heard me say this. I'll say it this way. An asset, when it cannot describe or articulate what it is that it brings to the table, is not an asset. It's now a liability. You, on the job interview, need to be able to describe what problem you will solve if you were there. That sounds great. Heliotropically, when they hear that you can actually help them with a problem rather than just reciting all the places that you've been, which they can read on the internet and on your resume, or you just wait for them to give you the questions so you can then, because your coach told you how to answer these questions, then say it. No, they're also looking for, is this an asset here in front of me or a liability? Here's the reason. If I'm the CEO and I hire a liability, people look at me and go, wow, you're not very good with people, are you? So what does this mean? You need to know yourself very well, because here's the deal. The CEO knows the company very well, but you're the CEO of you. You should know yourself very well. You should know, and this is why I teach strengths, because I love it when people talk from a position of strength. When people talk from a position of strength, the old E.F. Hutton commercial, people lean in to listen, right? On the interview, I'm not looking for someone who's in progress, trying to become better and maybe hoping to get in here when I'm asking for 3 to 5 to 6 years of experience, right? You don't have to have 7 to 8 years of experience unless it's something like a lawyer or a doctor. What they do want to see, though, is if you aren't someone who has the 3 to 5 to 6 years, you know what'll push them over the edge? Wow, for somebody who doesn't have 6 or 7 years of experience, this guy seems very comfortable. This woman seems very confident. What else is she confident about? That's the question we want them asking. Because Walt's right, you're selling. But how do you sell? You don't tell people all the benefits. You ask them, what problem are you trying to solve? And then after they tell you the problem that they're trying to solve, then you go, well, that's excellent. Because that thing that you just described, attention to detail, I live for that. In fact, that's what I do. If you look at my Clifton Strengths Analytical, it is my #1 strength. What does that mean? I'm detail oriented and detail focused. The devil's in the details. Just show me the details and I can make it dance. That's more powerful on an interview than just saying, yeah, I'm a critical thinker. Yeah, I'm a people person. What does that mean? Remember, the asset should be able to articulate well what it is that they bring to the table naturally, right? So CEO of the company is talking to the CEO of you. That should be a very comfortable conversation because you should know yourself very well. If you don't, talk to Walt, talk to people like me, talk to people who can help bring out what's great about you. Because here's the thing, I can say this because I'm in a church, I love this. God doesn't create junk. He's very purposeful about everything he built. Don't believe me? Look at the description on how the ark was supposed to be built. It's very precise about how it's supposed to be built. So God is not random. He doesn't just go, well, I'll just make Jama good at this and maybe I'll make Chuck good at that. No, specifically, you're made to do a job. And when you know how to talk about that job, when you know how to articulate what it is you bring to the table, you make the picture clearer for the person who's trying to ascertain what is this that's sitting here in front of me. Okay. So here's what I have a lot of my clients run through, because we're talking about identity here. When you don't have a job and your job has been your identity, you're lost. We'll actually have many identities. And so this is something I take them through. There's your career identity, what you look like and what you do when you're performing at your best and you're doing your work. There's your family identity, right? There's your health identity. Your doctor sees you as a profile of what is you in terms of your health and how you've been taking care of yourself. There's your financial, spiritual, relationship, and believe it or not, people also like to get together with people based off their identity and hobbies. If you're a bike rider and I'm a bike rider, hey, let's get together and let's go ride. Guess what? That bike rider also works somewhere, has jobs, has a connection. And while you're doing a hobby, you're getting a lead potentially because you were willing to go out there and identify somebody who cycles, someone who plants, someone who plays pickleball, disc golf, whatever it is. You see, everybody works somewhere or has worked somewhere. Anytime you're around them, that's an opportunity to network. But that's another thing I like to talk about. Then there's the social and friends. Social and friends, what do they want to do? When you're connected and you've listened to them, guess what they want to do? They want to reciprocate and listen to you if they're good friends. If they're not good friends, you don't have to spend as much time with them. In fact, I'd say you don't have to. If they're not willing to reciprocate, you don't have to. Spend that time with the people who you feel most heliotropic to, the people who give you the sunlight, right? That's where we're going. All right, so keep in mind of that. Now, what I have them do here is on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best, I have them point plots on where they think they are right now in all these identities. And usually what people try to do is if they're low, say in family, then they try to cover it if their health is better with family, but usually that's not how we do it. Usually if we're low, say like in something like hobbies and social with friends, then we have to say, hey, if I like to do health and my health is high, how can I do something healthy but with friends as a hobby? That's how you solve the gap. This is a wheel with spokes, but when you're lower in an area, it's like that wheel has a flat in it. So every time that wheel goes around, it hits that one spot every time. Because you know when you have lack, but you also know when you have surplus. Do you ever notice that when you have surplus in anything, you're willing to give? If you notice when you have lack, you're afraid to show up because you don't want people to think you need help. Because first there's an ego problem. Then if you've been at it long enough, you'll realize, no, ego's not a thing anymore. Now I'm just going to ask for help. And then some people will ask for help about everything. And at some point, you do have to carry your own load, but here's the difference. We, as community people, are designed to help people with the burden of carrying the load. Everyone here has to carry your own load, and we're designed to do so. But sometimes there's a huge burden of carrying that load. And that's when we show up, and then you, like the plant, will then turn towards the sun. It's heliotropic. Right? Let's keep going. Self-reflection. I love this. As somebody who's a behavioral strategist, this is what I've been doing for 14 years. I don't just care that somebody did something. I want to know why they did it. And I will study, what's the why? Why does this person do this? If it's Jordan, why does he practice for hours and hours and hours on the same shot? So that when he's in game time, he doesn't have to think about the shot. He just does it. That's a good way. Then I also will look at the people who are struggling and who are doing horrible things to people. And I say, well, why is this person doing that? And I find out that there was an unmet need. This person is handling in an ungodly way. And that's when you usually can see people who are going to cause you more pain than they will triumph. And we want to be careful of that because the people that you hang out with, what's the saying? The total of the 5 people that you hang out with is the sum of kind of what you're going to be reflecting. So with these reflective questions, they're simple. They're not really hard ones. You've heard them, you've seen them, you probably do some of it now. But the big question is, I would say, as believers, and we see it right there from Psalm 139:14, the psalmist here says that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Once again, no junk in the room, okay? Wonderfully, wonderful are your works. My soul knows it well, a soul tie. Not only do I believe that that's true, but I've sensed it. I know that I'm made to do something better. I know that I'm destined, but see, not everybody understands. Some people can't even describe what their strengths are. So how am I supposed to hire you if you don't even know what you're great at? Or maybe you know what you're great at, but you can't articulate it. See, that's not going to make the interviewer want to hire the interviewee. So there's that part of it too. Your resume isn't going to sell you. What's going to sell you is your demeanor when you show up at that moment. And then you need to be able to articulate what problems you solve, but you want to ask them, hey, so tell me, now I love this one. This is for free. Let me just throw this in there. I love this one. Have you ever noticed when you're really trying to get close to somebody and you're really trying to help them, you kind of lean in? This works in an interview. Tom, you know who the successful candidate is that needs to sit in that chair over there. What 3 things do you think they need to possess in the person that you're trying to hire? You see what I did? I went from just listening to I leaned in like, we kind of know this, right? Right? We kind of understand this, right? You know who wants, you know who needs to sit over in that seat. Can you tell me 3 things about that person in your head? What am I doing? I'm selling. What am I doing? I'm asking questions. I'm not assuming just because I went to Harvard and I got a PhD and I've worked at a company for 15 years and they've all been IBM, CompuSay, FedEx, that somehow I'm going to walk in and just get the job. Some of the people that I've actually sat down with had the arrogant attitude. I'm like, they will sniff that right out. Now, the job might be that they only hire people with very, very right brain mindsets on this. But at the same time, if you're going to chase people off because they don't like working with you because you're erudite, that doesn't help them either. And now they have to argue with HR all day. So it's not about thinking too much of yourself. It's also not about thinking too low of yourself because they don't want that person either. But it's exactly about knowing, Tom, I want to hear what it is that you think you need to have in that person. What are 3 characteristics you just need to see in the person you want to hire to fill that role? So I'm not waiting passively to hopefully come in and ask a question later. He knows. Tom's been VP for 25 years. He's seen people come and go. He has intel that we don't have about what the perfect person would be sitting there, at least from his perspective. So if I can find that, maybe I can speak to that. And that's a masterclass. The best salespeople don't talk. They ask questions. When they ask questions, they ask relevant questions. And even if it seems like the most obvious question in the room, they'll still ask it because the way we interpret words is different. Someone might tell you, oh, I'm looking for someone who's brilliant. Did they really say exactly what that means? Brilliant in what? The way they think, the way they connect, the way they talk, the way they communicate, the way they bring a room together if it's in disarray. Don't assume you know what brilliant is. That's a lead in to ask another great question because remember, the best salespeople ask questions. What are your strengths and weaknesses? You need to know what makes you come alive. So in these meetings, please don't go into another one of these interviews and just, so tell me about yourself. Now listen, no, you should be able to say, you know what I'm fascinated by? And actually why I looked at this job, because in the job description, it says that you like people who solve problems. I'm fascinated by puzzles, things that are incomplete that need somebody to walk in and put it together. I love to connect dots. You say it that way, that's different than going, well, I'm a problem solver. Of course, yeah. Why shouldn't I get this job? I'm a problem solver. That tells them nothing. But the moment you personalize it, because remember, they're going to have 15 to 20 people coming in that week. All of y'all are going to essentially say some of the same things. So how do you stand out? How does the salesperson who's going to, they're going to go through 5 different salespeople before they buy that car, right? Because they're looking for the best deal. You don't go to the first dealership and buy the car. Everybody knows that. So every salesperson knows I have to say something. I have to stand out. I have to do something different than the others so that they'll remember me. Because at some point, it was just another sales guy trying to sell me that blue Toyota again. On the job interview, you want them to see what it is that makes you come alive. What are you excited about? You see, your strengths, the reason why they're your strengths, the reason why they're in your top 5 is because you like to use them. That's why out of the 34 strengths that Clifton identified, your top 5, those are the ones you lead with. The ones at the bottom of that profile are the ones you still have that strength, but You don't choose it. You choose what's in the top 5. So if you don't know what your strengths are and how you can articulate them and how you use them, you're setting yourself to be at the rear of the class, not the front of the class. So when someone asks you something on an interview, they're not expecting you to be as personable. So guess what happens when you show up as personable? As someone that they feel like, man, I feel like I've known this person. And all you're doing is just doing what, CEO? You're the CEO of you. You know what your branding is. You know what your purpose is. Let them know, but don't say it like everybody else. Don't use vague and vacuous terms, right? When you know your strengths and you know your weaknesses, the weaknesses, by the way, can be strengths that are overused, right? So somebody who's high in responsibility can be somebody who doesn't know how to delegate very well because they like being responsible for things. You can see where there can be a downside. So you're not going to come in there and just spray just sunshine about your strengths. You're going to also understand that even your greatest strength can be your greatest weakness. And you're going to say, hey, but I also know that because of my focus, I can miss things going on in the peripheral. So what I've learned to do is make sure I get up so that I don't look like I just come into the office just to work and don't have any friends at the office because I don't acknowledge people because I just want to stay focused. People will read that in the offices and you don't care or you don't like them, so they don't invite you to lunch. Then the person sitting back going, well, they never invite me to lunch. Yeah, because you use your focus to come in and you ignore everything going on around you. And when that happens, people start thinking and feeling things, and usually it's just speculation. Can you control speculation? No, you can't. But what you can do is say, I am not only just a person who's very focused, but I also know how to break focus at time for the things that are also important that are going on around me. Because sometimes there's more than one thing that's happening at the time, right? Focused people tend to jump on the one thing and focus on it, but they'll miss everything else. So that's how we know if you're somebody who leads with focus. That's something that you can say from a strengths perspective about that and show that yourself is not as somebody who doesn't have issues or don't have challenges. It's just that, no, I've met them and here's how I challenge them. All right. If you had a job before this one, can you get another one? This is another self-reflective thought. It's an easy one, but sometimes people act as if, because it's been 6 months, 7 months, 10 months, you can't find a job. Is that true? No, that's fear talking. So you ask yourself this question. It's interrogative self-talk. It's better than affirmation. And here's why I'll say that. I can get in front of the mirror all day long and go, I'm great, I'm nice, people like me. I can say that all day long, but you know what my brain will do? It'll look at the reality of the situation and go, well, even if that's the case, Mr. Dunn, you're still not winning right now. So that's why I don't believe in just affirmation that way. What I believe is in interrogatory self-talk, meaning you ask yourself the question, hey, I've had a job before this one. I can get another one, right? Yeah. You were able to ace an interview before, right? Yeah. So why can't you ace this one, right? Will you get the brain to go back and focus on actual experiences that you've had? That's way more powerful than telling yourself something that you only halfway believe because you're depressed. Interrogative self-talk. It's genius. Ask yourself, and you'll find out, oh, why am I telling myself that? Because your energy's low. And when your energy's low, you will think the worst. The people that do the best, what we find, are people that are highly engaged and highly energetic. Why are they highly energetic and highly engaged? Because what they do gives them meaning, and they love that they have purpose. They love that they're contributing. If you don't like the job, you hate the boss, and you hate the people you work with, guess what? You're going to struggle to see anything good that's going on at that moment. And then you'll think it's just your life, because this job is like the last job that had this, and the job before that. No, we have to be people who can interrogatorily ask ourselves, is that true? Turn on your inner lawyer. Is that really true though? Oh, I'm scared that I won't get this job at Toyota because it's a big company and I've never been in a big company before. Plus, I don't have 15 years of this and 8 years of that and 2 years of this and whatever else it is. But the question is interrogatively, so what does that mean? Does it mean I can't get it? Or does it mean maybe I haven't raised my level of expectation, then raised my level of skill to get there? It means something. But usually we take the easy way out of it. Well, I guess this is just how it is. Dad never had a job like that. Mom never did this. My brother never did that. And he had a degree in it. If you start buying into all that, it's going to show up on the interview. So interrogatory self-talk. And then here's the bigger question also as well. Who do you need to become to go where you want to go? If you don't need to become anything, guess what? You're stuck. So you'll stay doing the same things that you're doing. But guess what? Technology, jobs, people keep moving. They keep moving. They keep elevating. They keep getting better. You can't stay here. So you do need to become something. So let's take this. Let's take the experience that you already got, that you're great at already, and say, how could I do that even better? Or the question we brought up earlier, what's the best use of my time? To beat myself up over the skills I don't have, or to challenge myself to say, well, just because this skill got me here, now I'm trying to get here. So just because it got me here doesn't mean it's going to get me here. It means you have an opportunity. You have an opportunity to learn, to get something else added to your skill set. By the way, everyone is an evolving skill set. I'll prove it. At one point, you couldn't walk. At one point, you couldn't drive a car. At one point, you couldn't talk. At one point, you didn't know how the world worked. You didn't know how finances worked. At one point, you didn't know how people worked. At one point, you didn't know a lot of things, but look what's happened to you. Transition seems to be what humans are pretty good at, because that's all we're doing is transitioning. Tell me one time you didn't have to transition. Guess what this is? It's just another transition. But the difference is, if we know our strengths, if we're asking ourselves the right questions, if we're avoiding the negative people who just want to keep bringing you down, crabs in the barrel, keep pulling you down, keep pulling you down. And the moment you try to grab up, another crab reaches up and pulls you down. When you isolate, get away from all that, and then look at yourself as the CEO, look at yourself, by the way, as the asset. The company's the target. Let's see, you're the asset, right? As a CEO of the company, I'm in the asset collection business. I better be able to recognize assets very good, very well, right? But did you think of yourself as an asset before this? You are. How do I know? Because you got strengths and you've been evolving this whole time. We're just stuck because we just don't know how to go from here to here. But no one says we can't do it unless we're just going to focus on the negative. The question is how? And then here, who do I need to become to go where I need to go? Job search is also this. It isn't just a loss of income and identity, but it's also a loss of structure. I mentioned that earlier. Because you had the 9 to 5, the grind and what you did every day before 9 to get there, and then everything you did after 5 to try to get back home and have your rest of your life. It's a loss of structure. So if you set strict working hours, even if you're not working, so, looking for a job is a job, right? Okay, so what time do you get up every day to get started? If you're getting up on Monday at 6 and then on Thursday at 9 or 12, you're getting out and you're creating a wrong structure, because once you get a job, guess what? It's going to be a same structure like this going across. So if we fall out of structure, one of the hard things to get back related again is getting back into structure. So let's don't lose the structure just because we don't have one. Let's impose our own, right? So you set the strict deadlines. You tell yourself what I'm going to do, how I want to do it. Today is the day I get the resume knocked out. And that's what I'm going to be doing today. Tomorrow is about networking. I want to make sure I get out and I network. Can you add other things into it? Yes. But again, what's your structure? Your structure is, I need to have a mindset, a single-minded focus on what today is about. And it could be several things, but to simplify it, you might say this. You want to create simple rules and guidelines to it. So here's the thing. You don't want to beat yourself up if today you told yourself you were going to send 40 emails and you didn't. If you beat yourself up for only sending 12 emails when you had planned to do 40, what we should learn from that is you set the bar too high. Maybe it should be 25 instead of 40. And then if you got 12, if you could just do an extra 12, you see how, if you make it 25, how that will help you. Why is this important? Is it because you can't do 40? No. You have to have wins, right? This is an emotional, psychological game that's going on. It's not just a tactical game, it's an emotional. So what do we do when we shrink back? We shrink back when we don't have anything that encourages us or tells us to keep going forward. So how do you build something that will then tell you keep going forward? Well, when you tell yourself it's 25, I know I can do 12, that's just doubling that. Then you add a little bit more extra hours in your day to make sure it happens. See, now it becomes a strategy, right? And assets love to create strategies because they're not an asset if they don't have a strategy. You're not an asset if you're random. You're an asset when you put a strategy in place. Now, here's the thing about strategy, right? You may have a strategy, but if it doesn't work, does that mean quit? No, it means your strategy didn't take in mind a couple of variables. So your strategy then needs to be fluid, because as soon as you get new data, you don't keep doing the same strategy when you have new data. You have to say, okay, my strategy was good up to this point. Here's how I need to shift it to make sure I get to the next point. So strategy shouldn't just be cold, hard, clad, can't change. No, it's a good way to get started. But then as soon as you see, oh, I can't do that because of this, then you make the adjustment. This is what we do. So be prepared to be challenged. Oh, I see here, Patty's got one there. Another site to help you customize your resume is your job description. Okay, gotcha. Credi.io. Be prepared to be challenged on any rule or deadline. As soon as you set a rule, if your normal activity level is to not do as much, but you're doing a lot because I said to do so and you were a little hyped, and so you went in and started to set this up, then you need to tell yourself this. I'm going to be challenging myself on the rule because number one, I deserve to be challenged because I don't grow unless I'm challenged. Right? If nothing challenges you, then you'll accept whatever's happening in front of you and you'll think that's your pattern. That shouldn't be your pattern. Your whole life, you should be challenged. That's why you had to walk. That's why you had to talk. That's why you had to drive a car. That's why you had to learn finances. You had to continue to keep learning. Right now, in a job search, it's the same thing. You got to keep learning. There's different styles. There's different ways that HR managers hire. There's different ways that CEOs will take it. There's different ways VPs will do an interview, but you keep learning. You keep adding. Because it's not that you can't learn. You can. There's no junk in here. Okay? There's no junk in this room. Right? I love this. Resist the urge to quit if and when you fall off the wagon. So sometimes a person might say, this week I had a goal to at least attend 3 networking events. I didn't attend one of them. See, networking sucks. I suck. I don't want to do this anymore. No, as soon as you start to beat yourself up over it, you're falling into a pattern that's going to keep you stuck. Our goal here is progress. It's not perfection. It's just progress. What's perfection today over yesterday? What's the progress today over what I didn't do yesterday? And notice there's always another day coming. So you have something that you can easily say, well, yesterday I didn't do anything. I just stayed in the bed and I was lazy and I was upset and I sent 1,000 resumes out on Indeed and nobody responded to me. Well, how many days you can keep doing that before you realize that's not a good strategy, right? So what are you willing to do? Who do you need to become to go where you need to go? Okay. So here's what I want you to be aware of. This is something I see a lot when I talk to people. It's the stress of a job search can also make people feel as if they don't deserve downtime. But working overtime and pushing themselves to the point of burnout will only exacerbate the feelings of isolation. So there's some people I know right now, I coach them. They start at 9 o'clock and they'll go till 10 o'clock at night. My first question is, do you think that's sustainable? It's not. So why would you make yourself do that? Why would you say, I have to then overcompensate for the fact that I don't have a job by looking like to everyone else that I'm working longer to try to find a job? Here's what's going to happen. You're going to burn out, and here's what your brain's going to say to you tomorrow. That really wasn't fun, what we did Monday. Why are we going to do this again Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday? And then you go, look, everybody else seems to be having fun, but look at me. I'm working 12-hour days because I'm telling myself I must, because I don't deserve to go out and have a little bit of fun because I don't have a job. Question?
Yeah, that's, well, comment on that actually.
Thank you.
But it's no different.
Ah, there it is. There you go.
Yeah, so just something to think about. It's real, just working like, I'm being and doing job search activities for like 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. It's no different than when you actually have a job and you're actually working 12 hours a day for 6 days a week. It's really no different if you think about that.
But see, I'm looking at the reality of what happens. Everybody I talk to who does that is burnt out.
But it's burnt out, yeah, but exactly.
And you don't do your best work when you're burnt out.
Yeah, you're still gonna burn out. And you'll still have those same feelings of burnout if you and you probably heard this, like people like that work 12 that when they have a job they have to work 12-hour days, 6 days a week, and they might say, oh, I'm feeling symptoms of burnout.
Yes.
It's really no different.
Well, here's the thing though. What I'm talking about is sustainability. People that do that aren't doing that the whole time they're working there. They're doing it because they have to get this project done. And because this project has got to get done by March, whatever, they're on that from a time frame, but they're not on that every day of the week at that particular job. Right. If they are there, we have a different question to ask.
Yes.
Because the question is, why are you getting burnt out? Why are you working in a job in a space that you don't love it enough to where it can burn you out and do that to you? And then why would you work at a job if you don't have the non-negotiables? Everybody has to have non-negotiables. There's things that you will not do. As much as I love coaching, speaking, and training, I won't work 12-hour days because they're not, because if I show up, you won't get the best me. You'll get the me that's just hanging on from the last 12 hours and the last 12 hours. And so I will put in the non-negotiable of saying, no, No one says I have to work 12 hours. That's me telling myself I have to do it because I'm trying to live up to an expectation that isn't sustainable, which will burn me out. So the thought is, why would I want to do something that I already know is going to burn me out if I have the choice, right? Is going to burn me out and make me somebody who is not going to be able to give my best level of work. The key piece to this is energy. I'll speak to this real fast, okay? People with high energy levels get it done and they don't tell you that they're burnt out. I know people who work at very high levels because that's who they are. That's what they love to do. I see people who aren't matched for a job that don't have that energy level. They're in the wrong job and they're trying to keep up with it. Then imposter syndrome kicks in and then they feel horrible because they're afraid somebody's going to find out that I'm really not this high energy person, but the pay is really good and I don't have to look for another job because it could take a long time. So sometimes people are trapped in situations, but I'm saying if you have the opportunity and you're able to think about it, you're not going to do your best work if you're looking at something 12 hours a day, every day with no break. I'll give you the example. A Ferrari, you guys know what a Ferrari is, a Lamborghini. Those are super fast cars, okay? Really fast cars. If you put that gas and push it to the floor, you can't do that for a very, very long time before it either runs out of gas or you burn up that engine because the heat that's generated by it, as powerful as that engine, it cannot sustain going 250 miles an hour every day. You could do it for a short run and show off the power, but you can't do that to a Ferrari or a Lamborghini just holding the foot down on it because that engine is so powerful, it will produce heat and it's not designed to drive 600 miles at 250 miles an hour. It's not, it will burn out. And so when you look at cars, even in NASCAR, same thing, they have to pull them over because after a while, those tires get hot, the engine components start to wear down, and they have to be pit stopped. There's no NASCAR driver here that will do a NASCAR race without a pit stop. Why do you do a pit stop? Because that car cannot sustain that for a long period of time without brakes. And that's the major point of it. So yeah, there are some people who do that. But my question is, what do these people look like after prolonged periods of doing nothing but 12-hour days? Are they people you want to hang out with? No, because they're frustrated. They're going to tell you that their life means nothing. All I do is work, da 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 da. And then all you're going to say is, well, all you do is work, then change it. Because you're going to get tired of hearing it. Because that's all they're going to say. They have no other experience while they're doing that. But I appreciate it. I mean, that's a good comment. I would love to continue after this. We can talk some more about it.
Can't do the same thing, expect different results. It's a definition of insanity.
Yes, sir. I love it. Thank you for that comment. Thank you. So again, this is beware, because I can tell you that the tendency, especially if you're a high achiever, is to somehow tell yourself you didn't put in good work that day unless you put in 12 hours every day. And that's not true. So if it's not sustainable, you need to understand where you can put breaks in there so that you don't burn out. I'm not saying don't work hard. I'm just saying be smart and understand how the body works. You can't sustain something like that, right? You just can't. And so why put ourselves there in that spot? Plus the brain will talk you out of it. The brain does not like to do things that will then be hard or difficult for you at some point, right? You may have heard of the amygdala hijack. Your brain's trying to keep you safe, right? So when it picks the things that are not doing well for you, not treating you well, your brain's like, I don't think we should do that. I can imagine us being so tired from working 12 hours, we can get in the car and crash it because we're so tired. I see amygdala saying, I know us. I don't know that that's good. So just think about it. It's something wonderful. So here's what we would talk about. Here, let me give you some practical stuff to go on top of this to help you. If we need some structure, this might help us with a bit of structure of how we'll do this during a time where we have the least amount of structure. So I imagine people from a daily perspective to see it this way. There's two parts of the day. There's before lunch and there's after lunch. The shortest part of the day is before lunch. The longer part of the day is what you do after lunch. So non-intensive tasks are great to get knocked out in the morning. You know why? Because by the time you go to lunch, you can say, I got this done, I got this done, I got this done, and that'll energize you. If you start with a big time intensive task first thing in the morning, by the time you go to lunch, you'll feel like you've done nothing all day. And your emails are still popping and trying to tell you, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. So we find that when you take care of these smaller tasks in that shorter portion of time first, by the time you go to lunch, which lunch does what? It reinforces the body if you're getting the nutrients, and now you're supposed to be, if you didn't eat too many carbs, ready for that longer part of the day, which then you have even more time to do the bigger tasks. Dave Ramsey would say it this way, pay off the little bills, right? And then yes, see? Same thing here in terms of our time intensiveness. Now, here's an important part. End of day. There needs to be one. If you just want to work and work and work and work and work and work, and you just don't look at the clock ever, you need to have a shutdown time. Why? So that the body can then take in something different. The brain can take in something different. Like you have a family, you have kids, you have a dog, you have something needs your attention too. This can't take all of your attention all day long. So there needs to be a cutoff date, a cutoff time during the day, but you do that. And then once you've cut off the time, you don't go back to it. Question over here, right behind you. Microphone here.
Yes, my question is, when you have a date, you have time in the day, I know often people have family obligations and they'll take a break, they'll have dinner, go back to work. So what are your thoughts about that? You have a full schedule for the day, you go to like 3 or 5 o'clock, you have, time with family, then you join about 8 o'clock. What are your thoughts about
That's a great question. If that can be done and it's not going to over stress you out or put you in a place where you're really speeding through dinner and conversation just so that you can get back to work, they'll see that, realize that, oh, he just did this for a second. He's ready to go back to it. That could send a different message. But here's the thing. We are in control of the schedule. We get to decide what goes on our schedule. We have choice. It's not time management. It's choice management. You choose what goes on your schedule. So if we put the right amount of time in, and of course we could be off, then we shouldn't have to go back to it. But if we're under a deadline that says that this has to get done at a certain time, like a particular recruiter is asking for something Wednesday night and you don't have it, you could do that and you can make the exception for that, but I wouldn't make that the habit, right? I wouldn't make that the habit, but you can. Knowing that you can would be good. But if you've got this in place, every now and again you could do that, it would be okay, right? But the goal is we just don't want that to become the norm. And most people who are especially are their high achievers, they will make that their thing every night to do, whether there's an urgent deadline or not. And that's what we're really speaking to. So daily, that's how you need to get your wins. Weekly. So Sunday night before the week starts, you need to be sitting down and you look at it. You need to come up with the numbers. There are 3 numbers you need to come up with. Okay? The first number is the number of emails or social media posts that you need to do that week. So if it's 50, then that means 10 posts a day during that week. Right? And you come up with the number and you change the number. If it's giving you results, you got the right number. If it's not giving you results, you need to go up or down, right? But you get to look at it. Second, what's the number of face-to-face meetings you can have this week? So if you're saying you're going to have 3, all right, then shoot for the 3, which means you have a week to get 3 of them. So you don't have to do it like every day, but as long as you get your 3 in, but you need to know the number of that. That last number is what's the number of events you can go to, like this, or other networking events where you're going to meet new people, be around different influence groups. How many of those can you do in a week, right? So if you plan this on Sunday night and you got your numbers, your job then when you wake up, see the structure coming in, is now you've got a goal to try to hit these different things and you got a week to do it. But daily, it's going to look like that. Now I'm a strategic. This is how my mind works. So if your mind doesn't work this way, it's okay. But at least I'm trying to show you that here's a formula, at least, that if you like it, you can do it. And obviously make it fit for you and your way, the way that you learn, right? The way that you do things. But this is a good structure point that you can use. Okay. Now, here's the benefits right now of being unemployed, because people say, well, that's crazy. I don't want to think about that. I'm trying to find a job. Why are you talking about the benefits of unemployment? Because there are some, right? Number one, you get to volunteer because you got nothing but time. Now, you might say, well, no, I don't have time. I've got to spend 12 hours killing myself answering everything from Indeed. No. We've already talked about that. When you take the focus off yourself and you go volunteer and help other people, it's amazing what happens to you. When the story doesn't become just about you, but it comes about the people who are in your sphere that you helped, you know what that does? It creates trust and authenticity. So why does that matter? Well, for somebody to refer you to a job, they're not going to refer somebody who they don't trust or feel like are authentic, have authenticity as a main goal. It starts as simple as that. If we truly understand networking, we don't refer people who we don't think are authentic, who won't work hard. Because again, why would I tell my good friend at FedEx, yeah, take my friend Susan here. She's lazy as all get out. But no, I'm gonna go ahead and no. The more that you show how trustworthy you are in the middle of struggling, dealing with your dark night of the soul as it's described, You just told the people around you that's a worker right there. That's somebody I can depend upon. Well, what are CEOs looking for? They don't want just smart people who graduate from great schools who've worked 15 years in the industry. They also want good people too, right? The people quotient is also important because even if you have all those things, but you're a jerk and you piss everybody off and people want to leave the job, you've created another nightmare for me. But if people could say, no, this guy or this woman, yeah, they'd be an asset to your company. And if they're thinking that way about you, then you're more likely to be referred, right? So sometimes we think if we just show up and we're laughing and we're telling jokes a lot, that means, and there's nothing wrong with that. But do you show people that even when you don't have a job, you still have the same work ethic, you still have the same skills, and you still act as if you're going to get a job? Yes.
Just wanted to echo on the volunteer section because I volunteer for organization and I'm just doing my thing, doing my job, doing whatever asked of it. And so I had a gentleman who reached out to me last week and said, I need to talk to you. Who am I? And so recently interviewed me and said, the reason why I wanted to reach out to you is because I see you in a lot of different places and you've got a story to tell. I have a story. But he did feature me on the radio, so this and that. So there's value involved.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We also have the opportunity. Some of us have been working in your industry for a while. This is a chance to go ahead and take free online classes to make it even better, or go ahead and create classes yourself and just teach it for people. I have a friend that did that. His name is Eddie Reeves, a good friend of mine. He started a men's Bible study, and the whole goal was during the pandemic was to just check and see, are you okay? Are you all right? That's the whole goal of that thing. Well, he invited me to it. I was there. It turns out that the VP of supply chain of Coca-Cola was on that call. The VP of the Dallas Mavericks was on that call. A couple of senators were on that call. And so for me being there around other powerful people doing some great, powerful work, it lifted me up. And it turns out that they were people that said, now, what do you do again, PJ? Human capital management is the ugly way to say it, but it's professional development because everybody needs to grow and everybody can grow. And most people want to grow. That's all I said to them. That was the pitch that got me in there. I've been working for those two companies now for the last 2-3 years because I showed up to a Bible study that someone said that they wanted to create just to check on people to see if you're doing okay during COVID because we can't go outside. Why do I say that? I just want you to see again. I'm saying it all day. We're built with greatness. We're not junk. Everybody in here right now, you might be off purpose, but this is going to teach you how to get back on purpose, right? You might be out of your way, but programs like this are going to help you get things out of the way so that you can get back on your way. That's what this is. This is a temporary stop that's happening, right? But you're going to stay on top of it, right? You get to, now here's the one that no one sees, nobody talks about. That's what I should put on Instagram, right? Because that's, you have to say expanding, grateful, wild, speculative things. But this is why this is on here. Nobody talks about this. Do you know that the people that are angry with you, that you're angry with, they also have no jobs and they also work somewhere where there are jobs? Now, I'm not saying be friendly to these people so you can get a job. No, what I'm saying is if you've got some relationships that went awry that are really bad and you're going, well, I'm not going to talk to them. They can come to me. They know where I'm at. You got one of those attitudes. You don't know what this guy or where he's working or where his wife works. You don't know. This is somebody who could potentially be a referral, but because you got some pig-headedness about you, you're going to let it just sit where it is. It could be a lead, the one lead you're looking for. You just don't know, right? But more importantly, it feels better to know that we're in congruency with people than when we're not. And in fact, some of us that are very people related, this hurts us more than we let on, right? But we pretend like, well, I don't need nobody. I'm okay. Well, the people who are the real people, as that quote goes, this actually is enough to block them from interviewing well, right? So if you're a process person, you probably think, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're especially highly relational, this actually can block you. And don't let the hiring manager look and sound like the person that you're having a fight with, because in your head, you're going to see them and you're going to be a little calcitrant in that particular meeting. You're going to be a little hard to get through because what you're seeing is the person that you're fighting with and this person here. And if they say something like what the other person said, you're quickly to put it there. We don't think of that there. We think about it in relationships, right? Because in relationships, we'll all agree. If somebody says something like your ex, you immediately see your ex when they say it. Because that's what you've heard a million times from your ex. Well, here's the funny thing. When you're doing this and you're sitting there in corporate, these are also relationships. These are also people. Also, if you're able to clear the air with somebody, it makes you feel better. Even you don't have to be best friends, but just knowing that that channel is now cleared where before it was clogged up. If you're a feeler, if you're a people person, that means something to you, right? Because it might be telling you, look how effective I can be with people. And if it's a people sport, and it is, and you know how to clear up clogged pipes, that means you could do it there. And when they ask you the question, tell me about a time when you didn't get along with the manager, you see the connection now. You can say, well, they're asking about how I unclogged pipes that have been clogged. When they ask, tell me about a time when you didn't get along with the manager or somebody you work with. And see, now you can use this as a framework, how you unclog this one situation with this one person to get to a better result. Okay. So just something else to think about while we're looking at that. And let me do this. The community thing is also super, 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 super important. None of us should be in the Witness Protection Act right now because you're trying to be visible so that you can then network, so that then people can think of you, so that they can refer you to some of the good jobs. It's why we ask here what contacts you have and what contacts you're looking for, because that assumes that we're networking, we're talking to people, and we've been places, and that we have relationships somewhere. Okay, so we're made for it. We grow in it in community. When you are around people who are like you, you can see how something can be done even better. When you're around people who are not like you, you go, oh, so that's what that looks like. That's what I look like when I'm doing that. All right, let me go ahead and use that as a mirror and see if I can get better out of it. Community helps us get out of our head. We can focus on someone else besides ourselves, which is that part about volunteering. When you give, it's still better to give than receive. The complaint is, yeah, but what if you give and all people do is take? Well, then maybe you might want to be more selective of who you're giving to than necessarily doing that to people who are showing you that they're bad actors. That I can't defend if you're doing that when you see that. But this does not mean give up on people, of course, right? And then we never know who we might help while we're out there in community. And then we don't know who ends up helping us. See, we walk in and think, oh, I'm going to go talk to Walt. Walt knows everybody. He can certainly solve my problem. But it could be the person who is the janitor in this building that knows everybody because he sees them all the time on site. He talks to them all the time. And so you can't even assume that. So you never know who is going to be somebody who can help you. So don't get caught in that trap of, well, if they're not in a suit with a bunch of letters after their name, they possibly can't help me. You'd be surprised. And by the way, hairdressers and barbers, they know everybody. They've cut everybody's hair head, because once you find a good barber, you don't go anywhere else. You stay there, which means you build a relationship. There's currency there. They get to hear the stories of what's going on. So if you think a barber or hairdresser is just there just to do your hair and your nails or trim your head, actually, they know a lot. Just ask open-ended questions. You might find out some interesting things. Okay, so I'm going to land the plane here real quick, and then I want to take questions. And again, I'm not afraid of challenges. Bring them. Actually, it keeps me awake and makes me whatever, so I'm okay with that. I know that some of these things may look a little different, but in practice and done well, they actually do bring a result. So here's what I want to land the plane on, and then I'll open up the questions. I love this by Paul, his letter to Ephesus, to the Ephesians, and he said it this way: for we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand. See how there's no joke in the room? God already knows how you're going to be, right? That we should walk in them, not ignore them, not try to act opposite of, not try to be like Mike. We need to be us in the way that we're built, able to articulate what it is we bring to the table, because we ask the engaging questions to help the other person understand how we can be of service to them. And with that, I'd like to take questions. And this could be a comment, doesn't have to be just a question. Or if not, what was something then that resonated with you today that you heard? Maybe you heard it for the first time, maybe just reinforce something.
Online, Patty said, don't forget to network with people from your university.
Good. Thanks, Patty.
Yes, and also connect with recruiters in your industry as well. So that's how how else you can add structure to that structure page that you showed, is even if I'm not meeting people in person, I would try to recruit with other or connect with other recruiters and other people. And I always have a target for the number of people I want to network with every week.
Oh, that's good. I like that. There's another hand up online. Somebody Myers. I can't read it over this.
Yeah, I would just add that the part where you said networking doesn't have to be like online on Zoom or anything like that. Even doing your hobbies, talking to people can turn out some good networking opportunities.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Who else? Yes.
Yeah, for me, it's the same with you. I can only reiterate the same issue. I mean, I volunteer for an organization as well, and it kind of, although it's a completely different field, what I've been doing professionally, but you meet always interesting people, and something pop up you don't even expect it, you know.
Yeah, that's so good. Thank you. Other thoughts, questions, ideas, maybe something that you're taking away today? Maybe what's the takeaway for you?
I have something, PJ.
Yes, please.
This is Gina. I think what meant something to me is it's not about perfection, it's about progress. And I need to be reminded of that. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Here in person.
Yeah, I just want to go in with you saying the person who cuts your hair. I've had mine for 20 plus years. Yes, I'm not kidding. She prides herself on connecting people. So when she knows that you are not employed, she will come close to putting a razor to your neck if you don't give her your resume so that she can figure out who she knows that she can connect you with. And she's gotten quite a few people connected to what she does. And it's an amazing thing on that.
Yeah.
So you never know who that is or where you're going to find that person that she's talking to. That's why it's important to, you know, I remind myself as the young lady up there said, you know, it's a progress, and it's very easy to crawl underneath that rock and not move. Or, you know, in the case of the job I just had where they closed down our office and we were working from home, which is something new to me. I enjoy being in an office. Suddenly I was working from home and I was finding myself, I got up and I had breakfast and I went upstairs to the office and I didn't come down until 5:30 and had dinner and kind of watched the tube and then did it all over again 5 more days a week. And suddenly I was becoming a ghost. So you need to get out. You need to talk to people, or otherwise you atrophy.
I love that. Thank you for that point. Was it you first? Yes.
I was just thinking to myself and laughing because he talked about the fact he had a, barber for many years and he's got a great connection. I'm thinking, okay, what about people like me? I have a deficit, so I need to make up.
Grow a beard and let somebody trim it for you. Somebody else online real fast. Is there anyone else online? I'm sorry, I cannot see y'all, but yes.
PJ, this Walt.
Yes.
One of the things that hits me is while you're looking for a job is to pay attention to your family, because we often leave out the attention because they have stress too. And it's kind of like our job to reduce the stress on the family members as well and spend that time. And what better time do we have and opportunities we have to spend time with family than when we're looking for a job? Because last time I had for 8 years, I worked 80 hours a week. You know how many opportunities I missed with my family during that time? All of them. All because I hardly had time to do anything else. And so I went from being a high achiever to just an achiever. I started reducing my hours, started spending my time with my family, and regretting all the things that I didn't do with them. So it really hits me that while we're looking for a job, spend quality time and help the family.
Yes, I see. I love that. That was that slide where I showed the spoke with the different identities that you have. Yeah, the other identities, your family, what can suffer if all you're doing is looking at it as in trading your time for money. And if that's all you see it as because you're just trying to pay some bills, yeah, then what's going to happen here is you're gonna push people away who actually are the people who are there to support you the most. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to send the message, especially if you're the leader, your household. You don't want to send the message that, hey, whenever things get tough, I just go into rocks. That's not the message.
It says a pretty nice thing. says, somebody, family is there when the job is not.
Yeah, I love it. That's good. It's really good. Well, let me just say this then. I want to thank you all for paying attention, being there, showing up here today. I know there were other things that you could have done instead. I hope that today what most happened, even if it doesn't change you at this exact moment, it at least puts ideas into your head, right? And so the person who's going to have a good chance of working out of being in a quagmire is a person who can entertain new thoughts, right? Because that gets you out of the stucktivity of where you are. So continue to look for the thoughts, continue to self-interrogate, turn on your inner lawyer on yourself. You don't need somebody else to kick you. You ask yourself, hey, are you living up to what you said you wanted to do? And if not, why not? This isn't that you don't think you deserve it, right? Because everyone here is supposed to pull their weight. Why? Because you can. And if you do that while other people are pulling their weight, now we got a community that's based on some of the same principles. All the company's trying to do is say, if I hire you, will you be the asset that I hope you are? And now, today, think on these things, because your answer is, I just want to know, what problem are you trying to solve? And then I'll tell you how I can meet you. And if you can do that, you don't need to be afraid of any interviews at all. Instead, stand up as the asset you are and talk asset talk, talk CEO talk. Because at the end of the day, you're still the CEO of you. Even if you're making good decisions or bad decisions, but hopefully more good than bad. And then when you're able to meet people where they're at, that's usually when you see more agreement is more likely to happen than if you're not. So polish, polish, polish all the skills that you're learning here, everything that you can learn about yourself, everything you can learn about people, and everything you can learn about the job. And then be happy. Because it's not that you can't do it. It's just that you're not doing it at this moment. So get ready for your comeback, because your comeback is going to be, it's going to be pretty nice, I promise. My name is PJ Dunn. I'm a behavioral strategist, and this is what I do. I help people and organizations connect to the higher goals to reach the destiny points that they know they can reach, but they're just not sure how to get there. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Every time I listen to you or talk to you, I feel better. That's a great time. It's great information, very positive things. So I'd like to wait. There's just a couple more things to wrap up today. All right. So definitely want to point out to you, for those of you who may not know about careerdfw.org, I mentioned it earlier. If I were to make you do something in your job search, this would be the one that would start you off, is to find the resources and availability, particularly some things that you can help right away or find right away is the calendar feature. And the calendar feature has a lot of job groups, job search groups. The DFW area has at least 80 something groups that were out there, prior to COVID. And I think they still exist, but look at all the things that are happening and going on, and they're color coded on that calendar for what's happening, where you might be able to find a resource or find something that can help you, or where you can help others also in the job search. And if you click on this portion of the calendar, it gives you an agenda view. You can scroll through each of the days, click on a particular topic, and it'll show you details, locations, who to send an email to, etc. All that information about that. There's many good ones out there, but I would really talk about one of the best ones is the South Lake Focus Group. It is focused on networking. And if you go to the South Lake Focus Group, be prepared to network. Don't just listen and learn, but network. Help someone else every day. That's the hope. Help one person every day is their motto. So South Lake Focus Group meets on Thursdays out at White's Chapel, north of the airport. Right, church. Anyway, you just definitely look that up and go out there. Matt is leading that group right now. You can ask him any questions you want to have about the group. So Matt's a great volunteer in multiple places while he himself is looking for a job. So if you click on a playlist on a a site called youtube.com/careerusa, you will see this come up. And so it is a gathering of videos over the last 3 or 4 years since COVID came along that Jeff recorded all these videos and posted out on YouTube. Now we don't have, we have recorded PJ's talk today. We don't have the ability to post right now. We don't have the credentials to post them on, but we've got them offline so we can post them in the future. But there's plenty that are out there. And if you see down at the bottom, it says view full playlist. If you click on an icon, you're going to start listening to a video. So if you look on view full playlist, then you'll get to see something that looks like this. And then you can scroll and say, oh, here's a topic that I would like to
Are you
hear about.
sharing your screen, or we don't see anything that you're talking about?
I can see it.
I can see it.
Oh, maybe, oh, it's me. It's end user problem on my end. I got it.
Okay, good. Well, thanks for the reminder, because there's so much technical stuff going on, it just boggles my mind. All right. So anyway, you can look for those. There's a lot of good ones out there on a lot of different topics. This particular group is the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. And so it'll have speakers that we have come each week to talk about different topics in job search. And you'll find that. But there's others. Patty Bashy is now doing the LinkedIn Tuesdays. There's another section out there just on LinkedIn that you can look at. And she records several different people that she has talking about LinkedIn and how we can help with that. So I would encourage you to look at 1 o'clock on Tuesdays for those sessions. All right. What's coming up? Well, next Tuesday, am I right, Patty, in that Kurt Vondemotter is going to be your speaker?
Actually, no, next week is going to be Ruth Lipsky, who will talk about LinkedIn's tools.
Okay, I misspelled Ruth's name. Anyway, okay,
Yeah.
Ruth, okay, there's a round robin of speakers there. I thought I had that down. I guess I don't have your correct schedule, Patty, for this. But anyway, every Tuesday, 1 o'clock online on Zoom. I strongly recommend you take a look at that. There's a couple of things we work on our resumes. We got to work on that LinkedIn profile. We've got to do that. And this gives you there's like 4 different people that give you different viewpoints of LinkedIn. I would wholly recommend you pay attention to those. Wednesday's the practice interview team with the pit crew. You can send your resume and job description to www.dallaspitcrew.com to get scheduled. And I will tell you that both the interview success workshop that I do and the pit crew, we are scheduled almost always a month out. So if you want to get on the schedule, get on it now. So that you can be a participant in that. We get too many times somebody says, can you schedule me an interview now? I need help today. I got an interview coming up Friday. And the answer is no, we can't. It doesn't happen that way. So as the pit crew says, practice early and practice often. Don't wait until you have an interview coming up. It is too late. All right. So upcoming sessions, the next Friday, we're going to talk with Tony Bashira. Tony has a recruiting firm, speaks to the world. Tony's been on news channels. He's all over. But the top 10 big mistakes of resume writing. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the resume next week. And then Dunn is going to give us some tips and things about branding. We all have a brand. What is it? How do we articulate? What do we say? So that's coming up in the following week. All right. Let me just mention a couple other things. Monday at 2 o'clock, if you go to the calendar, look at Monday at 2 o'clock for Career Care with Bill Brewer. I'm going to present the top 10 things to sell yourself and differentiate yourself in an interview. Okay. Of the 425 things we can do, I've selected the top 10 to do that. So if you'd like to join in that on Zoom, look up the 2 o'clock on Monday for that presentation about that. So that. Anybody got anything else to add before we close it up? Are we done? All right, we're going to meet at Dickey's today for lunch. be there at 11:45. Be glad to have you participate and join us there. And in the room, we're going to have a few minutes here so we can talk, where there was a few connections made, said, see me about this and Cinemark and all the different things. So we want to make those connections and discuss that. And if you got questions, other things you want to talk about, we're here to kind of network and do that stuff as well. So thank you very much for being with us, and we will see you next week.
Thank you all. Thank you again, PJ.
Thank you.